Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Walk On Radio. As you can see, we're in a live studio. We're here with Matilda Freelove. She's going to kind of run the show for us this time, so it's a little different from me and, of course, Hump, but we're excited. It's always a cool opportunity for Walk On Radio. So, Matilda, if you're ready, why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll get started with the show.
Well, first of all, thank y'all so much for allowing me to work with y'all. I approached these guys to do my independent study, and graciously they said yes. I really appreciate it. So it's good practice for me. I really want to learn more about talking about football and all that. So I've got some questions for y'all about the Super Bowl.
Awesome,
so y'all ready?
awesome. That's this
All right.
weekend, Super Bowl.
Yeah, just little game. So Super Bowl 56. Are y'all generally excited for the Super Bowl?
I'm pumped for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is, you know, in my mind and in a lot of people's mind, it's the biggest sporting event of the year. I told this to Dalton the other day. There's been, and this is kind of a nerdy football math thing that I figured out, there's been, give or take, 14,000 professional football games ever. This is only the 56th Super Bowl, obviously. So just how big the Super Bowl is, when you put it in terms like that, it truly is a big deal. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I think the cool thing is you kind of had your Patriots, you've had your Chiefs. We're getting something new this year with the Bengals, a team that, you know, I call America's team this year just because they've kind of surprised everybody, an underdog story. And then you have the Rams, which is another feel-good story. A lot of players on the team that I'm excited for. Of course, Matthew Stafford, the quarterback, a guy that I think everyone's excited to see win a Super Bowl if that happens. But it's going to be different. It's going to be in L.A. Everything's bigger in Hollywood. So I'm excited for the Super Bowl. It's going to be a fun one.
Well, and this is the first Super Bowl in a while that I feel like, from a national standpoint, there's really no bad guy in this situation.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have, like you said, the Patriots or the Buccaneers with Tom Brady, no Kansas City Chiefs. So I just want everybody to have fun.
Yeah.
I just want it to be a good game. If Joe Burrow does it, that's an awesome story. If Matthew Stafford does it, that's an awesome story. So it should be a fun one Sunday.
Yeah, so it seems like a lot of people are excited for either team to win because either one is very deserving of the win. Are y'all leaning towards one side, or?
I'm not leaning towards one side from a want standpoint. I am leaning one way to who I think is going to win. I'm sure you'll ask that later, so I'll save that. But I just want it to be a good game.
Yes.
I'm probably personally going for the Bengals, as I just kind of talked about. I'm a big underdog story guy, and because my Packers aren't in it anymore, I don't really have a say in this fight. So, you know, I like to see the Bengals win, give them a Super Bowl. They had like their little pregame thing where all the players came to Cincinnati.
That was awesome.
It was rocking.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole stadium was packed, so it's going to mean a lot for the city. And so I'm going for the Bengals, but like Hump said, you know, maybe the answer will change with who I think is going to win, but I'm taking the Bengals in my heart.
Well, and you talked about the city of Cincinnati. I saw where public schools in Cincinnati are closed on Monday.
I saw that
That's
on
awesome.
Valentine's Day.
I think that should just be a tradition for whatever city the two Super Bowl teams in, because it is, like I said, it's the biggest sporting event of the year, and honestly, they should just make the Monday after Super Bowl a national holiday. I had a teacher because we had one day of class canceled last week, and we were supposed to have a test on this coming Friday, so we missed a day. You would think it'd get pushed to that following Monday. Teacher said no way. Day after the Super Bowl is a national holiday, so test got pushed back, and I'm glad for that.
But what about New England? Do you think New England should do that, given, you know, at the point of their prime, they were going every other year? At some point.
Again, 14,000 NFL football games ever. There's only been 50, give or take, Super Bowls ever played, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yes, so you said Bengals. What?
I
do you
mean,
think?
I
You
guess
know where
if
your
I,
heart's at.
I guess if I had to pick, I don't know. I love Matthew Stafford. He's a Texas high school football legend. His first high school football game was actually against my alma mater, Sulphur Springs. He went to Highland Park. Ooh, man, just to be different from Dalton, my friend here. I'll go with the Rams.
The Rams?
This Sunday.
All right, I'm on your side.
You're going with the Bengals?
Yes.
Good choice.
So Joe Burrow, Matthew Stafford, both great quarterbacks. Which one do you think will have the better performance in the Super Bowl, just quarterback-wise?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I think Matthew Stafford, and we talked about this on our podcast episode. I think Joe Burrow is going to struggle with the Rams' defensive line. Aaron Donald is perhaps one of the greatest defensive players, if not the greatest player of all time. And you have Von Miller, former Super Bowl MVP, and that just front five of the Rams is crazy. And Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, their struggle is offensive line. Joe Burrow's been sacked a lot, even last year tore his ACL because of it. So I think he's going to have issues, and I think Matthew Stafford has such a good receiving core with Cooper Kupp, with Odell Beckham, who will surprise people. So give me Matthew Stafford here. I want Joe Burrow to succeed, but I'm worried with how crazy Los Angeles is.
I'll take a different approach to that. If Joe Burrow isn't the best quarterback in this game, Cincinnati cannot win. They won't win. It really rests on what Joe Burrow is able to do against that Rams front seven, like Dalton mentioned. But I am going to go Matthew Stafford as well. I think playing at home, and this is only the second time a team has played a home Super Bowl. The first time happened to be last year with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So this year, it's in Los Angeles. It's at SoFi Stadium. Matthew Stafford, he's going to be comfortable. He's played there for a year. He's comfortable. He has the better weapons in this game. Cooper Kupp, Odell Beckham is coming on, Von Jefferson, Cam Akers is having a good playoffs. And so I'm with Dalton. I am going to go Matthew Stafford. But if the Cincinnati Bengals want a shot to win the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow is going to have to outplay Matthew Stafford.
Of course. So there have been a lot of games in this playoffs that have been won by a field goal.
Incredible.
So do y'all think that it's truly important to draft a kicker such as Evan McPherson?
They did draft him.
They did draft him.
Yeah,
It was
they got a
fifth
lot.
round, I
They
think.
got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, they did.
And I actually saw, because he hit that game winner, they went back and found the tweet.
So
of,
that's why you draft a
that's
kicker.
why you draft a
yeah.
kicker. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I mean, I don't know. I'll take this one because the Cowboys, and that's my beloved team. At times, unfortunately, but our kicker this year, man, he was incredibly inconsistent. And I think the best thing with a kicker is consistency, not even really talent. You've got your Justin Tuckers and your Harrison Butkers who are just uber talented, but I just look for a consistent guy. Does he make the easy ones? Can he make a tough one now and then? And Evan McPherson,
Very consistent.
I mean,
so far.
you might as well call him Evan Can't Miss McPherson because the dude has been lights out.
Well, man, not only that, and this is coming from me and Hump, who play special teams for Sam Houston, and it's part of our career, a big part of it. Special teams as a whole is so important. And it's something that seems to be overlooked every once in a while. And looking at the Packers game versus 49ers, we lost because of special teams.
Yep.
Whether it was punt, kickoff return, punt return. It's so important to the game of football. And we're gracious that we have Coach McGraw for Sam Houston. He does such a good job, and he emphasizes special teams. But, man, you can see in the NFL that it can change a game. And we saw it with the game-winning field goals. And for the Packer game, all it took was a blocked punt to change the momentum. So special teams as a whole is important. But, man, you got to have a good kicker, or you're going to have bad luck.
Yes, I totally agree. Evan McPherson is very consistent, as y'all said. But I want to switch around and say that the Bengals' offensive line has been a little bit unpredictable this season. And as y'all said, it left Joe Burrow being sacked a few too many times.
Yeah.
But they were really present during the Titans playoffs game. Or no, they were not very present during the Titans game, but they were really present during the Chiefs game. And so what do you think? Do you think that they will be able to hold their own against people like Aaron Donald, Von Miller?
Man, I said this, and I think that at the end of the day, Von Miller or Aaron Donald will win the Super Bowl MVP because of the impact they're going to have. And so, like Hump said, if Joe Burrow doesn't perform, the Bengals aren't going to win. The offensive line can't protect Burrow, they're going to be in trouble. Now, Burrow can get it done, and he can move around and go crazy, but they got to hold on. And whether that means doubling Vaughn, double teaming Aaron Donald, they got to do something because they can cause havoc. And we've seen it before with the Ramsey line, and it can ruin a game for Joe Burrow. So they need to do a good job. They have to step up, and they can't let Burrow get hit too many times.
Well, the problem is that they're going to have to double Aaron Donald. Good offensive lines have to double Aaron Donald. That's why
even triple, even quadruple.
That's why Aaron Donald's stats. If you look at him, sacks, tackles for loss, they're lower. They're not. He doesn't lead the league in any of those categories, and it's because his opportunities are less because he is getting double and triple teamed. But, if you see those Pro Football Focus, like the grades, like the real in-depth analytics, Aaron Donald is number one because what the opportunities he's getting, he makes the most of. And so, yes, to answer your question, they're going to struggle against the Rams front seven. And ultimately, I think that's going to be their demise in this Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I believe that it will be as well, unfortunately. But so the Rams cornerbacks are also pretty good this year. And that leaves Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for very little wiggle room, very little room for error. Do you think that they will be able to create that separation in order to do what they need to do to win that Super Bowl title? And what do y'all think they need to do to create it?
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey, he's probably the best corner in the game. And he's, I actually saw a thing on ESPN today talking about how much he follows a team's number one receiver, like the percentages on that. And, he's covering their number one guy over 50% of the time. And so I expect to see more of the same in the Super Bowl with Jamar Chase. And you mentioned T. Higgins. What that means is he's going to have to step up. T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, those guys are going to have to make plays. Jamar Chase, they will figure out a way to get him the ball because he is that good. And Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have that chemistry from college, playing with their time playing at LSU. That's translated to the NFL very well. He obviously broke many franchise records, rookie records, and all that. But Jalen Ramsey, that is a step up to what Jamar Chase has seen this year. So, again, I keep talking about all these things that the Bengals have to do if they want to win. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are going to have to make plays if the Bengals want a shot on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm with Hump. Jalen Ramsey's going to follow Jamar Chase around. Jamar Chase got to get open. I think he's going to make a couple big plays, but he's not going to have the game that he normally does. And a player that the Bengals could have used was Uzama, the tight end, but had a knee injury last game.
He's still it's questionable.
We think
I saw he at that little pep rally.
He threw the brace off.
He threw the brace off. Maybe it was for show. I don't know, but he wants to play.
He's a big end zone threat. So if he plays, that'll be important. But T. Higgins, you got to have your backup guy step up and make plays. But I expect Jamar Chase to get maybe a couple deep balls. He'll outrun Jalen on a couple.
Put him at running back.
Oh yeah,
we've seen
Deebo Samuel.
You've seen receivers move to the backfield more often this year since Cordell Patterson and Deebo Samuel started doing that frequently. And I think Jamar Chase, I read he had like 7 or 8 backfield carries during this playoff. So you got to get the ball in your playmakers' hands.
Yeah, he's got to have the ball, and he's got to do something. But it all comes down to Joe Burrow. We're going to keep saying that. We're going to repeat it. Joe Burrow has to have a game if the Bengals want to be in this.
Yes, Joe Burrow's, once again, very important part of the team. And the fact that Jamar Chase is a rookie just blows my mind.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's incredible. And then, obviously, the Rams have great wide receivers, Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. What do you think that they have that the Bengals wide receivers don't have?
Ooh, that's a good question. Well, first off, Cooper Kupp is having potentially the greatest single receiving season we've ever seen, and that's counting Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, everyone. Little old Cooper Kupp from Eastern Washington, FCS brethren. He's having quite the year, and he is just. He seems to be matchup proof. It doesn't matter who's covering him. The guy gets open, gets targets. He seems to be so sharp mentally, and everyone's seen the video of it was on social media talking about him breaking down one of his touchdowns. I didn't know what the heck the guy was saying. It seems that him and Matthew Stafford's relationship is kind of why he's just had that success. And as far as Odell Beckham goes, I'll be the first to say that I kind of wrote that guy off. I wasn't a huge fan of his in New York. He wasn't very good in Cleveland, and I kind of jumped on the boat that he was washed up and kind of a cancer to teams. I will be the first to admit that he is a huge reason in why the Los Angeles Rams are in this Super Bowl. And I told Dalton this the other day. My dark horse Super Bowl MVP, my Super Bowl MVP pick is Matthew Stafford. My dark horse Super Bowl MVP pick is Odell Beckham Jr. I just really could see him, breaking off, making a couple plays, catching a touchdown. He's so elusive and he's so special with the ball in his hands. I mean, he's one of those guys that if you can get him the rock, he seems to always make something happen with it.
Yeah, I think it comes down to two people, and the first is Matthew Stafford, experience. He's been playing for, 13 years. And even though a lot of it was for the Lions, and we say about the Lions, but he's a good quarterback, and he's done his job, and he's played for a while for a reason. And the other person is Sean McVay. The guy can put players in the right position to win. And that's just, and we talk about this plenty of episodes, the style of NFL offenses are changing. It's becoming more motioning receivers, motioning the tight ends. A lot of, trying to
It's college football-ish.
Yeah.
It's
100%.
looking like college football.
And we're seeing it with LaFleur with the Packers, McVay, Shanahan, just a lot of young coaches coming in and running this kind of West Coast style. And Sean McVay just fits. It's a perfect fit for Cooper Kupp. And then you have someone like Odell Beckham who, like Hum said, someone that may have fallen off the radar, still a good receiver, still had the best catch in NFL history. And he's a red zone guy, and you can make it happen. Another guy, and I'm a tight end, so I love talking about tight ends, Tyler Higbee. Higbee has had a great last 2 years, just a guy that you probably haven't heard of, and all of a sudden making a bunch of plays in the end zone, making some big 20-yard catches. So he's going to be a threat, and Sean McVay and that offense just does a really good job placing people where they need to be.
Have you seen Sean McVay? Have you seen when they'll go up to him and ask him, okay, hey, on 3rd and 11 with 3 minutes and 25 seconds left in, September, the 3rd week in December, and he can tell you exactly what play they ran and the situation, the score, who they were playing against, who got the ball. It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
And he can do it in high school too. And talking about high school, Sean McVay actually, this is incredible fun fact, but Sean McVay, Georgia High School Football Player of the Year, his senior season, beat out Calvin Megatron Johnson.
Who's that guy?
Yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah.
NFL Hall of Famer, one of the most talented receivers of all time. So Sean McVay, he's been there, done that. I would love to see him get a Super Bowl. If they don't get it done this Sunday, that'll be his second time going and not getting it done. But I do think that McVay, he will have a Super Bowl before he's done.
Yeah, and I think talking about McVay, there's a lot of pressure on him. And we kind of asked your dad about this, and your dad said that there's no pressure for him because he's got such a long time and he's doing a good job. But after that first Super Bowl loss, and it was bad. It was a bad loss. Jared Goff kind of struggled that whole game. Their offense couldn't get it done. So he's got a new quarterback. He's went all in. He signed all these people. You got to win this one, especially a team like the Bengals. And I don't want to put this on the Bengals, but this should be an easy, on paper, this is an easy win for the Rams. So if he loses this game again, it shows Sean McVay can't get it done in the Super Bowl. And, of course, it comes to the players, but it's bad luck. So I think there's a lot of pressure for him.
Well, the Bengals, you talk about it should be an easy win. The Bengals are really, they're kind of just riding on this journey of getting it done in the playoffs. I mean, you take down the number 1 seeded Titans, who I didn't think the Titans were that great as a number 1 seed. You then go on to beat you beat the Raiders, excuse me. Yeah. Then you beat the Titans. And then you go on to beat the Chiefs. And in that one I was thinking, okay, this is where the journey ends. It got to be halftime. The Chiefs had the big lead. I'm thinking, And then Patrick Mahomes kind of lays an egg.
Yeah.
And that's no knock on him, but he did not get it done. And the result of that is that the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. Now where the Rams are, at one point this season, we thought that the Rams were the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, 100%.
They fell off a little bit, and they got hot at the right time. The playoffs is all about getting hot. Who is clicking on all cylinders when the playoffs come? Those are the two teams that are going to make the Super Bowl.
And also, falling off, Matthew Stafford had a rough kind of back half of the season.
Yep.
So if Matthew Stafford's off, this team's bad. This team does not look very good. I mean, the Packers beat the Rams early in the year, and Matthew Stafford just looked bad. He threw a couple interceptions. There's games where he threw multiple interceptions, a couple pick sixes. So if he's off, he's off. But I think he has enough people around him where he can make it work.
Do you think that the Bengals wide receivers have something that the Rams wide receivers don't have?
Man, I think they just got some young swag, man. Jamar Chase just has – he's a guy that people kind of well, me and Hump, especially me, when they drafted him over Penei Sewell, offensive lineman from Oregon, we clowned the Bengals. We said it was a terrible decision.
We did.
Joe Burrow's going to get hurt, and all of a sudden Jamar Chase comes out and wins Rookie of the Year.
To be fair, their offensive line is terrible.
Still,
and we just had a whole entire segment about how bad their offensive line was and how many sacks they give up.
Yeah.
So kind of, good side, bad side. But Jamar Chase, one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time, so you can't really complain about that. But I guarantee with the 31st or 32nd pick next season, they will draft an offensive lineman.
But man, they just got some young swagger to them. They got some juice, a little underdog story. They're being doubted this whole time, so they got something to prove. And I think they're going to go out and do it.
Well, they won 6 games combined in the last 2 seasons. So talk about having an ultimate chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
And we're not the only 2 people sitting up here saying that the Rams are a lot better than the Bengals on paper. They know that. They have TVs, they have phones, and so and that's the beauty of the Super Bowl. And you and I talked about this before we even started recording. The Super Bowl is so special because there is only one shot. You get one chance at this.
Yeah.
It's not basketball or baseball or hockey where, hey, if we lose on Tuesday night, we got another game on Thursday night to redeem ourselves. This is it.
Yeah.
And I really do feel like what I'm about to say. I think the Rams win this game 9 times out of 10. So if the Bengals do happen to win on Sunday, it was a 1 out of 10 thing in my opinion. But it doesn't matter. That is why the Super Bowl is so special.
Yeah.
Yes, so the Bengals defense actually has been playing pretty well against the Chiefs, including that big interception in overtime, big deal. Do y'all think the Bengals defense will be able to guard that Rams offense the same way that they did the Chiefs?
And I sure hope so.
It's going to have to. It's going to have
They'll
to because the
have to
Rams
if
are
they
going to
wanna
score
win.
points. The Rams are going to score points, no doubt. We were talking about, and you've got all the different, props and all the betting that comes with the Super Bowl, and the total points number is 48. And we said, the Bengals are going to have to put up offense if they want a shot in this one because the Rams are going to score points. I do not see a scenario where this is a 13-10 Bengals win. I'm thinking if the Bengals win, it's like 35-32. It's a high scoring
By another
affair.
field goal.
Yeah. And honestly,
Get Evan McPherson
I would
out
be
there
willing
again.
to bet that this one. Ooh, could it end on a
Be
last
by a
second
field goal
goal?
again?
Maybe.
That'd be a hot take.
In an overtime field
I'll
goal.
go.
as well.
Oh man, is it really bold to say Matt Gay for the Los Angeles Rams?
Wow.
Hits a game-winning field goal and not Evan McPherson.
Maybe.
Maybe McPherson hits a game-tying field goal, and then Stafford
Comes down to coin
storybook
toss.
ending. Oh god, if it comes down to the coin toss, you better pick tails.
Yeah.
I tweeted about it. It's going to be tails. Tails never fails. But yeah, Matthew Stafford over the middle. They spike it like the Cowboys wish they could have. And then Matt Gay kicks a game-winning Super Bowl field goal. I could see it.
I think the Bengals strategy needs to be stop the pass. Obviously, that's the number one thing because the Rams' run game is okay. They have Cam Akers, who just came back from an ACL injury. A great story. But if they can stop the pass and make them rely on the run, I think they have a shot because their front five is pretty good, and the Chiefs' run game is very mediocre. But they were able to stop Patrick Mahomes. They were able to stop the pass, and obviously they got the win. It took a couple quarters, and it was they scored a good amount of points. But the main thing is stop the pass, stop the quarterback, and you have a better chance of winning.
Cause a turnover or two.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, you talked about him later in the year. He was susceptible to throwing too many interceptions. The ultimate deciding factor, the one stat you can look at other than the score itself in deciding who wins a football game is who wins the turnover battle.
Yeah.
Every metric you look at says that. If you win the turnover battle, your chance percentage to win that football game goes up dramatically.
And then, of course, I said it earlier, special teams, block a punt. Maybe return a kickoff.
That's another one.
That'll-
If you have a X play or a touchdown or a block or whatever on special teams, your chances of winning go up.
And momentum will shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much about your commentary on the Super Bowl. I wanted to switch and ask you a couple questions about general NFL stuff.
Yeah.
So, as we know, some of our generational very big names are retiring, such as Tom Brady,
Yep.
the man himself,
Yep.
the GOAT. Do y'all think that will trigger Rob Gronkowski's retirement? And do you think he was serious about wanting to play with Joe Burrow?
I saw that.
Yeah.
Is that legit?
He
Yeah,
said
he
he
said-
tweeted about it and said that that was the
That'd be a
quarterback
nice
that he
duo.
chose.
I think that's
quite the
just.
power
I think
team.
that's Rob Gronkowski being Rob Gronkowski. I feel like Tom Brady and him are two peas in a pod. There's a reason Gronkowski came out of retirement to play in Tampa Bay
With Tom Brady.
So I imagine Tom Brady going out is probably the last straw for Rob Gronkowski.
Yeah, I agree. I think Rob Gronkowski retires, and I guess this is a hot take, but this is my hot take. Rob Gronkowski is the greatest tight end to ever play football. Do you agree with me? Or?
I not a hot take.
You agree?
Unless anybody outside of this room thinks so, but I am a full believer. in that.
So I think he was the greatest tight end before, but with the tight end, you have to be able to catch and you have to be able to block. And in Tampa Bay, he kind of took more of a blocking role, and he did his job.
And then catches 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl last year.
He goes back to the old Gronk. And a lot of people like to argue, well, Travis Kelce, and I will take nothing away from Travis Kelce, but he's a receiver.
He's a receiver.
He can't really block well.
I think the age of the tight end is ending.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that pains you to hear me say, but Darren Waller, Travis Kelce, Kyle Pitts, come on.
Well,
that's not a tight end.
I don't know if the tight end position is dying rather than evolving. It is, I'm the tight end that's a little bit slower, not going to run the big routes, and that position is probably on its way out. But this new, quicker, the Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, somebody that can run a 15-yard route and potentially burn a corner or a safety, it's happening.
Yes, it's called a receiver. It's called a receiver.
A receiver that's like 250 pounds, can
Right.
probably throw a defensive
6'7",
end.
yeah.
But Rob Gronkowski, greatest tight end to ever play. He's definitely gone. But man, Tom Brady retiring, and not only him, but we have Phil Rivers, Big Ben just retired, Eli Manning was on his way out, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers potentially. We're gonna see that in a few weeks whether he stays or goes. But this whole generation of quarterbacks that me and Hump grew up with are on their way out or out already. And we're starting to see this new group of guys come in. There's a whole bunch of quarterbacks, and Hump talks about this all the time. The AFC, the amount of young quarterbacks that are in there is insane. The NFC, there's not that many. But, as the older guys get out and more young guys come in, we're going to see that. But we're in a new era of football with the college football style of offenses, the young quarterbacks, the quick quarterbacks, your Kyler Murray, somebody that's not 6'5" and stays in the pocket but can move around, read option stuff. We're seeing a new style of NFL, and I'm all for it.
Well, one more thing on the Rob Gronkowski talk that I just thought of. Greatest tight end of all time, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time. If Rob Gronkowski also retires, they will likely go in the Hall of Fame in the same year.
Yeah.
So I feel like as them being best buddies, that would be pretty cool. But
Poor Big Ben. He's just kind of out in the shadow now.
yeah, I mean, he'll still be a Hall of Famer, but it's not really about him anymore. He might just sign like a one-day contract next year so that he would be in the Hall of Fame. He'd be in the Hall of Fame class after that. But talking about the young quarterbacks and the new age, the Josh Allens, the Justin Herberts, the Joe Burrows, Patrick Mahomes, we're in good hands.
Yeah.
And it sucks to see those guys leave because that's who Dalton and I grew up on. Those are my first Super Bowl memories. But Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, you've got all these young guys. Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so football is truly in good hands. And I think the game is evolving. Dalton talked about, it's kind of getting more college play style. You've got these faster quarterbacks. That's okay. It's okay. And in 20 years, when our kids are 20 or 10 or we don't have kids, I don't know, whatever, it's going to be different then too, because football is an ever-changing game, and kind of whichever way the wind's blowing, that's who has success in the NFL.
All right, Hump, I'm going to go back to my hosting duties real quick. I got a question for you.
Okay.
What is your greatest Tom Brady memory? Whether a game, whether it was something else?
Easy. I don't know how it couldn't be the 28-3 comeback.
Yeah.
I remember right where I was. I remember who I was with. I remember what I was thinking. After like halfway through the third, kind of the room, it kind of got cold. We're all thinking, he's going to do this.
Yeah.
He's going to do this. Sure enough, they throw an outside pitch around the goal line. He gets in. Tom Brady has the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, and that's probably my favorite memory of him.
Is it a hot take if I said the Bucs winning the Super Bowl was one of my favorites, just because the whole story of he's not going to be the same without Bill, without the Patriots, all of a sudden he's in a new uniform and he wins it the first year he's there? I think it's up there, and man, I know this isn't an exact Tom Brady memory, but it is a Patriots game. It is him, his team. The Malcolm Butler interception, that whole Super Bowl at itself was just a wild experience.
Golly.
And then the ending of that with the interception at the 1 yard line, taking a knee to win the game, that was really exciting.
Super Bowls are so special because
even in that moment, I know exactly where I was. I know who I was with, and sports are awesome because not just the Super Bowl, but big sports moments. And this is just who I am as a sports fan. I can almost tell you what I ate that day, because of how monumental those moments were in time from a sports fan standpoint. The Malcolm Butler interception, hand the ball off, Pete. Hand the ball off, Pete. You got Marshawn Lynch, but yeah, man, Tom Brady. Just we're blessed to have gotten to experience his greatness, and it's fun that. It's fun, but it's also, you wish you kind of had a counterpart. But like in basketball, you've always got the, LeBron versus Jordan argument. That isn't a thing when it comes to quarterbacks in the NFL. It's Tom Brady and the rest. And so we're blessed to have gotten to see him play, and happy that he's going out on a high note.
Yes, and Dalton, I wanted to ask you, since you're such a big Packers fan, where do you think Aaron Rodgers will end up if he doesn't retire?
Well,
because a lot of people think he's not staying with the Packers anymore.
And I'm actually one of those people, unfortunately. Being a Packer fan, I am. I think his number one spot is probably the Denver Broncos. They just hired Packers offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett. He is the new head coach at Denver. That was already a place he thought he was going to go. People thought he was going to go. Great receiving core. They have a great running back, one of Hump's favorite guys. They have a good defense.
Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Aaron Rodgers said he doesn't want to be part of a rebuild team, and the Packers are going to be rebuilding. We are way under in cap space. We still have to pay Davante Adams, and that's going to be a max contract if we can. So I think the Denver Broncos, another landing spot is potentially the Pittsburgh Steelers. I could see him playing there. It's a team that has been around for a while. They have a good receiving core, a good team. Or the Packers. He might stay. He did develop a good relationship with the GM, which was his big problem. And so he could stay for the Packers. I'm hoping he does, but my thought is the Denver Broncos or retirement.
And I think Dalton is spot on. I'll throw another prediction in there. If Aaron Rodgers is a Green Bay Packer next year, so will Davante Adams. If Aaron Rodgers is not a Green Bay Packer next year, Davante Adams is also gone.
Yeah, 100%. And for Davante Adams, the Las Vegas Raiders looks like a hot spot for him. He's good friends with Derek Carr. They were teammates in college. And looking like that will be the place that he would end up, but you never know. And I'm hoping he stays and Aaron Rodgers stays, but if they're not, we might have a few years of rebuilding, and that's okay. It happens to all great teams.
$43 million over the cap space doesn't sound like a few years to me.
So I have one more NFL question for y'all. What's y'all's opinion on the Washington Commanders' new name?
Man. Hump has a lot of choice words. Before you get on your rant, I'm going to just make it quick. I like it. It fits DC. It's got like the DC government kind of look, Commanders, and the jerseys. Hump, close your ears.
Oh man,
I love the jerseys. I love the jerseys.
I'm stop you right there. I'm okay with the name. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It sounds like an arena football team to me.
Yeah.
The jerseys are terrible.
Come on.
They are awful. There's no uniformity. The red one and the white one and the black or gray whatever, they might as well be three different teams. Some got dots, some got stripes, some have a random logo in the middle of their helmet. It's awful.
Look, you're trying stuff out.
It is terrible. And first off, maroon and gold is an awful mixture of colors. I mean, by far the worst in all of sports. That's why they're the only team in sports with that color mixture, because it's awful. Just be blue or just be maroon. Just be maroon. Take the
Honestly,
yellow out.
They should be red, white, and blue. DC, Commanders.
They
should have just went all in with the patriotic look.
Yeah, and just do like stars and stripes helmet. I mean, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's for the Patriots.
Yeah,
that is true.
Oh, okay, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But that's also, I love names that have meaning to where they are at. Like,
The Packers.
the same. No, that's cool. The Packers is cool. The Packers is cool. There's a backstory behind that.
Yep.
And the Cowboys.
The Cowboys, that's
49ers,
cool.
that was a good one.
The 49ers might be the best one just
Yeah.
because of, obviously the gold rush in California. But I don't know, like the Detroit Lions, like there's no Lions in Detroit.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
No Lions. But Commanders, don't hate it, don't love it. Uniforms, awful.
Do you have a better name option that you would think would be better?
Oh man. I always thought that their hockey team, the Washington Capitals, I think that's a great name. Not that they would copy them, but again, I like I got mine. The Washington Monuments.
Oh.
That's awesome. The
Well,
Washington
the
Monuments.
Capitals and the Commanders kind of fits with like a Army
Yeah.
type theme.
Oh yeah, no, it does. And again, like I said, I don't hate it. I don't love it. It just doesn't roll off the tongue like I wish
Understand.
it did.
My choice, so back in the day, they had an offensive line that they called the Red Hogs, and that kind of became their fan base. You know, like the Browns have the Dogs, and I don't know, the Cowboys, do they have anything, the Crybabies, but I'm sorry, I had to throw it in there. But
Cheesehead.
allegedly, one of the names was the Washington Red Hogs. I kind of liked it. Would it be a little bit similar to Arkansas with the Razorbacks? Maybe, but they could have done some really cool red with the Razorback on there with the Red Hog. So that would have been my choice. I know the Red Wolves was an option. That was cool.
Admirals was one of the
Yeah.
finalists. I think the Admirals is pretty cool.
But I'm cool with it, and I'm excited to see how they look.
Yeah. So I'm done with NFL questions actually, but I wanted to ask y'all a couple personal questions. So
Okay.
Ryan, you're graduating.
Yes.
And you have retired from football.
Yes.
What are your after college plans, and do you see yourself doing anything football related in the future?
Well, I certainly will have something to do with football in some capacity. I hope. Football's been my love for as long as I can remember. Sports, but mainly football. Obviously, my time at Sam Houston has been more than anything I could have ever imagined. From playing, from my duties as student athlete president to walk on radio. All of those could not be possible without Sam Houston State. So I'm greatly appreciative of all the friends and all the memories that I've made here. But as far as after college, I graduate with a marketing and entrepreneurship degree in May. My plan is to move back to my hometown of Sulphur Springs, and go from there. I want to get into the business world. We'll see where that takes me. But I don't know what way I'll be directly tied with football, but I will be for sure.
That sounds awesome.
Yep.
And then Dalton, how is your spring training going, and what are you focusing on for this upcoming season?
It's good. So we start spring ball in 2 weeks, so we're kind of getting ready for that. We have a new offensive coaching staff, so our big emphasis right now is just learning the new offense. We have Coach John Perry, who spent 6 years with the Houston Texans, and so we're kind of moving into more of an NFL style of offense, and so there's a lot to learn, especially for a bunch of college kids. With last year's offense was kind of, they tell you where to go and what to do. This one's a lot more open. You got to know the play, you got to know the defense, and it's kind of up to you to run what you think is right and be able to defend it. So we're learning that, and that's kind of our big emphasis. And then we're with Coach Parker doing strength conditioning, and we're just trying to get a lot bigger, a lot faster. Our first game is against Texas A&M. It's the first game of the season. 100,000 people at College Station. Big game. And so, of course, we're playing SEC opponents, so that's kind of the first thing on our mind, and we're excited. We don't know if we're going to be playoff eligible or not, and if we're not, we want to go out there and play every game and do our best, whether it's for something or for not. But it's our last year in FCS, so we kind of want to go out with a bang. And so we're just getting ready, man. I'm excited. It's going to be fun.
So you're enjoying the new coaches and all that, because there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're enjoying them all?
Yeah, they're really interesting. We have Coach Bassett, our offensive line coach. He's a guy that we played last year. He was the offensive line coach for SEMO, and he's a really cool dude. We have Coach Walker, the receivers coach, and we have Coach Johnson, the running backs coach. And the funny thing about Coach Johnson is he was a South Dakota State running back coach when we played him in the national championship. So he said every time he saw the ring, got a little mad, but he's a Bearcat now.
Listen, man, hey, I hadn't been around the guy yet, but you got to question, can he win the big game? Can he handle the big moments? Because the answer right now is no. He cannot.
But and then we have Coach Merck, the tight ends coach. He's the only returning offensive coach we have. So we have a really cool group of guys. And since we're running more of an NFL style, it's kind of become a lot more professional. We're student athletes still, but we have to spend so much time on the playbook and on film. And so we're learning, and it's so much fun, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And it sucks Hump's not there. Of course, we miss him out there.
A lot of people aren't there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
new
people
group.
that
Yeah,
have been transferring and graduating and all of that.
It's so weird because I'm class of 2018, and there's not many of my guys left. There's only about like 4 or 5, and then and that's it. I'm one of the old guys now. I remember being Hump. We're talking. when we were freshmen about the older guys. And I know you're really good friends with Hunter Brown, who was the old head of the group, the 6-year linebacker. And that's going to be me. I'm already going to be a 5th year next year, and then my 6th year I'll be a 6th year. So I'm kind of the old man that gets to lead these young guys along. And of course, Hump is going to be around if anybody needs help or advice. I'm excited to kind of step into that role of an older player, and it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible, and it's the namesake of Walk-On Radio. But Dalton and I came in as preferred walk-ons, like you said, in 2018, and where we've gotten in this program is an awesome story. And Dalton and I wouldn't do it any differently. But there were days in the beginning that sucked. But it makes it all much more worth it. The group of guys that we got to be with during the national championship run and during the 22-game win streak was something I will never forget. And I'm excited to see where everyone ends up, whether it be in the NFL or not anything to do with football, just people as husbands and as fathers and doing whatever they do as a professional standpoint. I'm excited. And in 2030, when we have our 10-year reunion for the national championship, that will truly be special because it's an awesome group of guys. And like I said before, Dalton and I are very fortunate to have been a part of all this.
Yeah, like you said, the big thing is the ring here. We have this forever. Me and Hump friendship is forever. I even got a tattoo for the national championship with "Burn the Ships." It was a tight end motto. So we all have something that is just forever. And immortality was a big word for Coach Keeler. And it's a great honor to be part of this football team, especially because me and Hump walked on. And winning the national championship is a big deal. But me and Hump were on the field. We got to play. I got a couple offensive reps. We both got big special teams reps. So we were on the field for the national championship game. We played significant snaps, and that's what's important. And for two guys that walked on that had a low chance of ever being on a team and making it this far, it's a cool story.
There was a video going around today and yesterday of somebody videoing from the sidelines of the national championship that I had never seen before. And I saw it today, and it literally gave me chills. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching it, and I'm tearing up because, and that sounds dramatic, but it was just such a monumental moment in all of our lives. I mean, I truly, and I've told the story a million times. When we won it, there are pictures of me absolutely bawling my eyes out. I mean, I am hysterically crying, but rightfully so, because that's what type of moment that is. And like I said, we're coming up on. Well, I guess it's been 1 year since we started that season. I see a video that I hadn't seen before, and it locked me up, honestly, this morning.
Yeah, and I actually started my job with Bearcat Sports Network February of 2020.
Wow.
So I started.
That was a good time.
Yep,
yeah,
for sure.
Time.
So I started during the COVID. I got to experience the national championship with y'all just in a different way. I was on the ESPN team for. Or not the ESPN team, but we did the jumbo board cameras for.
That's awesome.
I remember doing the North Dakota State game, almost getting run over by a North Dakota State football player on the field, but
it's just cool. It's cool, like even non-players, just to have been around that and
going to school here during that is crazy.
Having your stamp on the national championship in any capacity, just being able to tell your kids or your husband or your wives or whatever. That, hey, I was around when that happened. Yeah. That's awesome. And, we're moving up to FBS, and this is potentially the last time we'll ever have a shot at an FCS national title or I know college football is ever changing, but 2020 will forever be a year in Sam Houston history. Yes. And I don't care what the new teams or next teams or whatever they do success-wise in college football for Sam Houston. The 2020 team is the greatest team of all time.
Well, and it's history in general because y'all were able to do, was it 22 games? Yeah,
21,
in a calendar year.
Most wins in a calendar year. It'll never happen again until there's another
COVID
pandemic 100 years from now. But 21 wins in 1 year is unreal.
Yeah, and another game that is such a big deal, and I remember, it's funny because I remember seeing you there was Piney Woods.
Oh, yeah, so I was on the field for that.
We're the type of guys that we played at NRG, whether we make the NFL. A lot of players, obviously and realistically, they're not going to make the NFL. We got to play an NFL game or on an NFL stadium. And next year is the last time we play Piney Woods for potentially a long time, and it's going to be a while. And so there's just so many cool things that Sam Houston has given, us and people like you that does video and everyone that does everything in Sam Houston. We've been blessed with really cool opportunities, and we get to go to College Station, Kyle Field, big game at A&M.
I hope to
last
be
Piney
there.
Wood game. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things, even if we're not national championship eligible, even if we're transitioning, we have a lot of cool opportunities.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I actually transitioned from the ESPN crew for football games this year to doing y'all's highlights.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all saw
Sweet.
those highlights,
Sweet.
most of those are me. But I actually wanted to ask y'all one more question. How do y'all feel about the fact that Zion McCollum, Jaquez Ezzard, just what are y'all's feelings on the fact that they're getting pretty far into this process?
Man, I am ecstatic for them. I'm truly their number one fan. It goes back to what we were able to accomplish as a group, and I want to see everybody be successful in any professional field. And so to see Zion McCollum get invited to the NFL Combine, Jaquez, he does great at the NFLPA Bowl, gets invited to the Reese's Senior Bowl. That's awesome. That's
wild,
so cool.
yeah.
And I joke with this with my dad and Dalton. What if Jaquez, he gets drafted, does really well? I'm a big fantasy football guy. Dude, Jaquez Ezzard's
Get to
on my
put
team.
Jaquez
That's
Ezzard
my
on
boy.
your
Why don't I
team?
call him
That'd
real
be
quick?
crazy.
That's so cool. Just outside of football memories, like going to eat with those guys or in the locker room with those guys. Like people if they do make it big, people will see them as professional football players and professional athletes. Me and Dalton will see him as old teammates and friends. And so it's really cool to be around that many just incredibly talented football players.
And I think the cool thing, too, is with their success, it sets up the rest of the seniors on Pro Day. With Zion and Jaquez doing so well and coming to Pro Day, people are going to come. And now people get to look at Joe Wallace. They get to look at Trace Mascara, Jahari K, Isaac Schley.
We've got a huge Pro Day group.
Yeah,
I think
so
like 12 or 13.
With the success of those two guys, it brings more success to the other players of Sam Houston. But it was such a cool thing to see their helmet, the orange Sam Houston in the bowl games.
Yep.
And like Hump said, they're both really cool guys. They're friends of ours. We both have Jaquez's shirt that he sold. And so it's a cool deal. I really like it. But I'm really excited for the Pro Day and see all of our guys, the whole class and everyone else do their Pro Day and hopefully get a shot at the NFL.
Maybe me and Dalton, we wear our walk-on radio polos. I'll bring my stopwatch. We'll just live coverage Sam Houston Pro Day.
Well, Hump, I'm telling you, I think XFL is calling your name.
Okay.
I think you need to do the
I do
Pro
like
Day.
the XFL,
and then
but yeah, I don't know.
I see it.
She talked about my what's my next step with football. I don't think it's that. I think it'll be in some other field. But the XFL would be cool. We've got the USFL coming up. I like the idea of these spring football leagues because listen, once the Super Bowl is played on Sunday, it's about a 3 or 4 month span of just crappy TV, okay basketball games, and we don't even know if there's going to be an MLB season. Okay, so I'm okay with the USFL. I'm going to be, what is it, the Houston Gamblers? Is that the Texas team?
Yeah.
I'm all in.
And man,
Houston Gamblers.
With that, the opportunity for players that maybe an Isaac Schley doesn't make an NFL team. Bam, right there, he has an opportunity.
100%.
And we've seen people like Kurt Warner play, was it arena football?
Yep.
All of a sudden.
The Iowa Barnstormers. Did you see that movie?
Barnstormers?
That's a great name. That's a great name. Did you
I
see
did
the
not.
movie, though?
I want to.
Did you see the movie, American Underdog?
Pretty good.
This is my advertising of that movie. I enjoyed it.
But with those under leagues, it gives an opportunity. We see baseball do it with AAA, AA. Why doesn't the NFL have it? And I think it's a good, even the G League in basketball. There's an opportunity
Why
there.
doesn't the NFL have that?
It's weird.
You just have you've got the Dallas Cowboys and you've got the
Cowgirls.
Dallas Cowgirls. Sure, yeah, whatever.
I don't know if they'd like that name.
That
Put a little bow tie
probably
on the
wouldn't work. Okay, you could do the Colts.
Okay.
And the well, there is a professional team called the Colts, so I don't know. You could do what's a baby horse?
Ponies.
Is that a colt? The pony. There we go. Yeah,
Pony Express.
Perfect.
But yeah, it's a great opportunity, and I'm excited. And I hope any football league succeeds because it's more football.
Yeah, and
For sure.
one more question because I keep thinking of questions for y'all.
You keep them rolling.
Y'all-
Me and Dalton we're ready to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Eric Schmidt is kind of seen as a Sam Houston celebrity. A little bit. Quite the legend.
The greatest Sam Houston quarterback of all time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a hot take.
No, it's not. How many national championships have we won?
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true.
I would go Brian Bell, number 3. Okay, got Sam Houston to 2 national championships. Number 2, I'll go Jeremiah Briscoe, no national championships, but did win 2 Walter Payton awards.
Yeah.
Number 1 is Eric Schmid.
Yeah.
E3.
And you know
To the day I die.
You know what's crazy about that is Eric Schmid, star quarterback, Eric Schmid, good friend, Eric Schmid, roommate. So, like,
Yeah.
just like you were talking
Really?
about.
Oh, yeah.
He's my roommate. He's one of Ryan's good friends.
I talk to
I
Eric
didn't know
every
that.
single day.
I couldn't.
Yep.
I can't see him as a star because I see him every day.
Well,
waking
he's a
up
big
and-
goofball, I
Yeah.
tell you.
Yeah.
And he does not want any part of any stardom. We've actually we've actually had him on Walk On Radio before.
Yeesh.
Ooh, man.
He doesn't.
Lord help him. He
I've
is
heard
not a
that he's
talker.
not quite the talker for
Oh,
media and
no,
all
no,
that.
no.
Because
He's not the
I've
talker.
asked before. So I do post game interviews and stuff with Keeler and all that, and then
Yeah.
the players that'll hop in. And I've asked, well, Eric is our quarterback. Why haven't we
Yeah.
done it? Because we interviewed the Montana State quarterback, that little freshman guy
Yeah.
that unfortunately hurt himself. But I was like, well, why haven't we interviewed him? And Sheridan was like, he's not quite the talker.
Yeah, you're probably better off coming to his official spokesperson. I'll do the talking for him. But like Dalton said, Eric is absolutely one of my best friends in the world. Probably be in my wedding one day. But
Oh, yeah.
he's the greatest quarterback in Sam Houston history, hands down, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's humble too.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
read all of
Yeah.
his
Oh, yeah, he's
articles
great.
and stuff. He doesn't want any
Yeah.
of.
He's not a
the-
social media guy.
stardom,
he,
yeah.
he doesn't care about stats.
He puts all the blame on like the entire team in general.
Oh, man,
Like,
it-
he
yeah.
gives it all credit to y'all.
Yeah, anytime somebody tries to compliment him, he'll say, "No, it was Jaquez," or "No, it was the line."
Yeah.
And that's just the
Yeah.
kind of guy he is. He's such a great guy.
I still at any level, high school, professional, college, whatever, the grittiest, toughest performance I've ever seen was the national championship game. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
dude spitting up blood on the sidelines.
He
He,
had
like,
the
broke
bent,
his ankle.
Yeah,
the
bent face mask.
Face
I
mask.
mean that last drive where we where we converted 2 4th downs.
That insane.
Unbelievable.
I was in the crowd of the national championship
Unreal.
game. Crazy.
Unreal.
So loud.
And I don't think people talk about his high school highlights enough.
Oh
And
yeah,
His stats
Well, he
in
did
high
go to
school.
state. He did go to state championship.
He only
is
had
that?
one offer too, didn't he?
He was.
It
Or
might have been
from
one
Sam
of the New Mexicos. I
Yeah.
think he was
Well, I
recruited
remember
by,
he-
but then Sam Houston was like his only
Yeah.
other one.
Well, because he went to camp, he comes to the Sam Houston, like we have this mega camp where there's like 300 people. He comes and runs like a 4.5, 40, 4.4,
maybe
something like
4.4.
that.
He's rolling.
Something like that, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Well, who's this guy?" They look up his stats, and he's one of the best Texas quarterbacks in high school.
And it probably helps that his dad was a very well known high school football
Yeah.
coach, so
He
he's
was
able
his
to.
coach, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. He went to the Woodlands, which we have lots of Woodlands teammates. We always like to
Yes.
pick on them.
Highlanders,
But
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, just everything you want in a quarterback is what Eric Schmid was.
Yeah, and I think even too with that, right behind him, Keegan Shoemaker and Chopper Pennell.
Yeah.
Two great guys. Keegan Shoemaker comes in for Piney Woods and does such a good job. He takes the team and he leads them. And even in the offseason right now, Keegan's been doing such a great job leading the guys and doing his thing. And Chopper Pennell too. He's such a cool guy, and he's got this swag with him, this thing that he just comes out and wants to play. So our whole quarterback room is just really talented, and I'm excited to see them all play.
Well, I think that is all the questions I have for y'all. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to be on this episode and letting me produce this for y'all. I really appreciate it. So, do y'all have anything y'all want to say? Or
Thank
anything?
you. This was an awesome experience. I mean, look at the setup. It's awesome. This is new for me and Dalton, but we hope we did well. Thank you for having us on. Walk On Radio. Follow us on Twitter. Watch our videos. Watch this video, most
Yeah.
importantly. We want to get Matilda Freelove some love from this. She did a great job. We definitely thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
experience. This was exciting. We love growing the brand, and follow us on everything, and follow Matilda on her journey. And we're glad we did this.
Yes, for sure. Follow Walk On Radio, and we will see y'all maybe next time.
Oh, that needs to be
maybe
next
next
Needs to be
time.
next time.
Bye, y'all.